who's actually going to get the most out of a high-end self-leveling laser and who should walk away before they spend a fortune. If you're wondering whether the Topcon HV2S RWRBD is the right fit for your everyday job site, or if it's an overkill you'll never use, keep listening. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first question I hear from anyone eyeing a laser like this is, do I really need something that can span 800 meters? It's a reasonable hesitation. On a typical residential remodel, a $2,000 laser might feel excessive, but on a sprawling road building contract or a large-scale grading project, the ability to set a reference line a half-mile away without moving the unit can shave hours off a day's work. That's the core of the value proposition, not just range, but the confidence that the reference stays true no matter where you set up. When I started digging into the Topcon lineup, the big draw was the dual-slope capability paired with automatic self-leveling. The idea is that you can project both a horizontal plane and a controlled slope simultaneously, which is a huge time saver if you're laying foundations on a sloped lot. In real life, that means you can stand on a hill, turn the unit on, and walk the entire length of a trench while the laser maintains the exact grade you programmed, without having to stop and relevel every few meters. That's a workflow that's hard to replicate with a basic line laser or a manual level. So, who should buy this? If you're a commercial contractor, a site supervisor, or a utility crew that regularly works on projects that stretch beyond a few hundred feet, the HV2S pays off. The battery claims of up to 120 hours mean you can leave the unit on an entire shift or even an entire week without worrying about a dead cell interrupting a critical pour. The IP66 rating also reassures me that rain, dust, and the occasional splash of concrete won't knock it offline, which is a real concern when you have a unit perched on a tripod in the elements. On the other side, if your work is typically interior, like hanging drywall, framing a house, or installing cabinets, the extra range and dual-slope features may sit idle most of the time. A cheaper single-slope laser would cover those needs, and you'd save a significant chunk of cash. Also, the unit is a bit heftier than entry-level models, so if you have a small crew that can't afford a dedicated person to carry and set up the tripod, you might find the ergonomics a subtle pain point over a long day. Talking about strengths, the range truly separates the Topcon from many competitors. A day's work on a large parking lot can be done from a single setup, reducing the number of moves and the cumulative error that comes with each repositioning. The built-in Laser Manager app also adds a layer of convenience. I saw field crews pairing the laser with a tablet, marking points directly onto a digital site plan, which cuts the paperwork loop dramatically. It's not just a laser, it's a data collection point, letting you verify that your elevation matches the design without a separate survey instrument. The weak spots are a bit more subtle but worth mentioning. First, the cost is steep. This isn't a gadget you buy on impulse. It's an investment that makes sense when you can spread it across multiple jobs or a high-volume schedule. Second, the unit's sophisticated self-leveling algorithm, while generally rock-solid, can be finicky if the tripod isn't set up on a truly stable surface. I've read a couple of anecdotes about the laser taking a moment longer to engage on a gravel-filled pit, which could cause a delay if you're under a tight deadline. Finally, the app, though useful, adds a learning curve. Crews need a few days to integrate it into their daily routine, and that transition period can feel like a productivity dip before the payoff. A practical example that illustrates the trade-offs: a municipal utility company needed to set a consistent trench depth across a 500-meter stretch of roadway for a new fiber line. Using a conventional line laser, the crew would have set up a reference every 50 meters, checking each segment manually. With the Topcon, a single setup provided a continuous, accurate slope, and the data from the app fed straight into their GIS system, cutting the trenching time by roughly 30%. The savings in labor and the reduction in ground truth errors were tangible enough that the client deemed the upfront purchase worthwhile. Contrast that with a small carpenter who only needs to level a countertop or hang a few picture frames. The same features would be overkill, and the extra weight would be an inconvenience in a tight, indoor space. For that user, The money could be better allocated to a high-quality spirit level or a basic line laser that still does the job without the bells and whistles. One more point to consider: the warranty and support ecosystem that comes with Topcon products. While I can't quote specific